Tonight we are calculating the cost of historic flooding in Davenport and how much a flood wall could have saved the city.
It's continuing coverage of the flood of 2019. Davenport's Public Works Director told us in April the city's flood costs don't go over $250,000 for any given year. However, now the damage from last week alone could be in the millions of dollars. That raises questions about finally building that flood wall. Fox 18 News did some digging around the Quad Cities area. We found Muscatine spent about $26,000 on its flood response so far this year. That includes labor, equipment, and materials. Fox 18's Tahira Rahman joins us in the studio with that. Tahira?
Jim, Tiffany, there are two levees in Muscatine, one on either side of their downtown. The middle portion on Mississippi Drive is left unprotected to keep the river accessible. The Public Works Director tells me that even though the riverfront still floods, the levees still save the city millions.
It came up so fast.
Mark Diericks watched from his Muscatine business as the Mississippi River rose last week.
We did manage to keep it out, but it was pretty touch and go. Every morning it was just inches and minutes away from coming over the barriers and flooding the building.
But he says the flooding could have been much worse without Muscatine's levee system.
What would you estimate that cost might look like if you didn't have your levees?
If we didn't have levees, the cleanup costs would be, oh man, thousands and thousands, maybe $100,000 more than that. Monsanto's down there, GPC, Muscatine Power Water, all the water wells. You're talking multiple millions of dollars of damage that is prevented by the levee.
Brian Steinman is the city's Public Works Director. He used to work for Davenport and says having levees makes the flood fight simpler and cheaper.
If we had to go through and put man-made barriers where the levee is now to try to defend the flood, it'd be probably closer to $500,000 or maybe even more.
We dug into Davenport's records and found that their flood costs had already topped $500,000, even before their barrier breach last week. We asked Steinman if his former town needs to invest in their own flood wall.
Do you think that it's long overdue that they have a permanent system in place?
You are putting me on the spot. I don't want to commit either way. I think it's worthwhile to have here. It's worth the effort and the cost that they put into it.
Muscatine's Public Works Director says the levee system has become even more valuable with the more frequent flooding in recent years. He says their top 4th and 7th highest floods have both happened within a month this year between April and May. In the studio, Tahira Rahman, Fox 18 News.